So we have some updates on some brand new WWE Ultimate Editions that are going to be coming later on this year, man. We got to see these back at WWE World. If you guys remember, we got to see a bunch of these figures, and we got to find out that WWE Ultimate Edition Series 33 was going to include two new faces in the Ultimate Edition line, featuring Liv Morgan and Sheamus. And at WWE World, we did not know what the third and final figure in this set was. There was a lot of speculation on who it could be, and I think we found out about a week ago that the final third figure in this set was going to be CM Punk. You know, there was a lot of speculation that maybe it was Penta. There was a lot of speculation that maybe it was some other characters, but now we finally know not only who all is included in Ultimate Edition Series 33, but we also know what gears these are going to be, and today I'm going to be letting you know what they are, and these do come from an anonymous source who has batted a very high percentage so far, and so I want to get in here and discuss this, man. So what we're going to do is we're also going to get into this lineup and discuss it, man. So the first figure that we're going to be discussing is CM Punk. He is the new figure here, and we kind of speculated this on the other day, but apparently this figure is going to be SummerSlam 2025. Now, this is the gear that many of us were hoping for. I even put it in the thumbnail of the previous video because I thought that this may be what the gear is, and sure enough, that's what it's going to be, man. This gear is very sick, too. I'm very excited to know exactly what's going to come with this CM Punk. Is it going to be repeat head sculpts? You know, I feel like since he returned back to WWE, I feel like they have given us a lot of brand new head sculpts for CM Punk. They have changed it up quite a bit. He's been pissed off. He's been yelling. He's had smirks. He's had smiles. And I hope that this one also includes some great things. Now, I'm also wondering, is this going to include a cloth goods jacket? If you go back to the Ultimate Warrior Amazon 2-pack with Papa Shango, that Ultimate Warrior comes with a really nice jacket. I would love to see them repurpose that jacket for CM Punk and change it up. You know, he likes to wear these style entrance jackets with his figures or in his gears for WWE. And this is his Fantastic Four gear. That's what everybody's dubbing it. It looks like identical pretty much to the Fantastic Four. I love this blue gear. I love the blue color, and I do love the blue gear, but the blue color just pops so nice, and then you add in the white and black contrast, and it just throws it completely over the top, man. So this right here would be a beautiful figure if this is true, which I do believe it is. And so SummerSlam 2025 CM Punk, where he took on Gunther. Now, another thing about this figure that's interesting to report, the person also says that Larry is not included with this, so that kind of proves our theory or goes back on what we were talking about, how we didn't think that Larry would probably be in the main line. That seems more like a Mattel Creations exclusive, a ringside exclusive, and I'm hoping that we see these figures, that we get to know where these figures are and what the, you know, where the hell's that Larry figure? Where there's zero updates on this. We have not had any updates, and this is something I was thinking about the other day. You know, the Submission Match 3-pack, the WrestleMania 13 3-pack that came out not too long ago, or that is hitting retail shelves right now. I actually found this in my Walmart just the other day, and this set has just now hit stores when we saw this set almost a year ago to the day. It was San Diego Comic-Con when we got to see this figure set on display, and that just kind of shows you how far along maybe that Larry is, because it takes so long for these figures. I mean, that figure had prototypes hand-painted on display. The Larry was just a gray render. So it makes sense that we don't really have any updates on that Larry all this time ago. It was just a simple render, grayed out render, and now we're finally, or not even finally, we still don't know anything about it, but talking about that WrestleMania 13 pack, it's kind of crazy how we saw that almost a year ago, and we're just now seeing it on retail shelves. It took a year to not only create the figure, but actually see it on display at Comic-Con and then actually hit retail shelves is pretty crazy, and that's about how the timeline usually goes. But SummerSlam 2025 CM Punk is an absolute slam dunk. Now, I also want to get into the second figure in the set, which is going to be Liv Morgan. Very excited for Liv Morgan. This figure looks great. I know it doesn't have butterfly joints, but I still think it's going to be a great figure because this is going to be her WrestleMania 41 gear with the Women's Tag Team Championship in the red. Now, this was a different look for Liv Morgan. This was not a look that we typically see from her, and I thought this was an interesting one. I'm sure we'll probably get her WrestleMania 42 gear as well down the line. But this Ultimate, you know, we waited forever for a Liv Morgan. We really did. We waited forever for Liv Morgan. And this also, you know, we talked about Larry being a grayed out render. We also have to talk about that Liv Morgan grayed out head sculpt. We still don't have an update on that figure. But something tells me we'll see both of those figures. The Larry with whatever CM Punk he's coming with, and then the Liv Morgan with the grayed out render face that we saw back at Comic-Con as well during the panel. We should have updates on that, surely, within the next couple months, especially if it's not at Comic-Con, maybe it'll be a little bit before that, but that's the deadline for me on those figures, man. If we don't see those at Comic-Con, I have no hope for ever seeing those figures, so hopefully we'll get an update on that, but until then, we do have this Ultimate Liv Morgan that is coming very soon, and I'm excited to see what this figure looks like when it is all colored out, and we get to see exactly what it's going to look like and everything. You know, we don't have a grayed out prototype render shot or anything of the CM Punk, but I'd imagine it's just going to be a repaint of his previously done Ultimate, which is Ultimate Edition Series 27. That is the same wave that we saw Logan Paul in the Philadelphia Eagles gear, and it's the same wave we saw the Bayley figure, if you guys remember that set. I'm about 99.9% sure it will be an absolute repaint of that Ultimate Edition Punk. But the Liv Morgan figure should be a slam dunk, man. I mean, you look at this gear, I'm interested to know exactly how they're going to do this, because that gear was quite different. It was quite different for her, but I look forward to seeing what these figures look like. I feel like she struggles in the head sculpt department a lot of the time, similar to a Bret Hart, to a Becky Lynch, to some of these other characters we've seen over the years. So I'm hoping that Liv Morgan has a really good Ultimate here since we waited so long. I know it does have butterfly joints again, but hopefully... Oh, man. I mean, that does sting, man, because we waited so long for an Ultimate Liv. I mean, 33 sets to finally get a Liv Morgan, or whenever the hell she came in, and it took this long to get one. Hopefully this one will deliver. But the last figure in the set is Sheamus, who a lot of people were very excited for to see in the Ultimate line, because just like Liv Morgan, it took a very long time to get an Ultimate Edition of Sheamus, and apparently this is going to be from his return on Raw 2024, or it's just listed as a 2024 Raw, but I feel like if they were going to commemorate him, I feel like since we don't really have any elites or anything of him coming soon, I'd imagine that this is going to be that green gear. What was it, like biker shorts? It's a little bit different for Sheamus, and I think that this would make the most sense. I guess they could go with a different gear, but if I had to put my best guess forward, I would guess this is going to be in those green biker shorts with the WWE logo and things like that. It's funny because I think when he returned back, I don't think he was quite in the shape that he's usually in, but I like the formula they went with. Sheamus actually bats, you know, we talk about figures and characters that bat a high percentage. Sheamus is up there, man. A lot of his figures are really good. The formula is really good. The head sculpts are really good for the most part, accessories-wise. He has a strong track record, so I'm hoping his Ultimate still lives up to that, and, you know, they feel good in hand, and he doesn't have any stupid things that ruin his figures, because up to this point, he has had some really good ones, so I'm hoping that trend continues with his Ultimate Edition, and it's not a letdown. But, I mean, as a whole, this whole set does feature 3 current day talents, 3 talents that are on recent WWE television for the most part. They're not necessarily throwbacks, right? They're not flashbacks like we saw in Series 32. And then in Series 34, we already know what that lineup looks like as well. So, I don't know. It's kind of weird how they flip-flop back and forth. Like in Series 32, which is shipping out now. I should have these in hand very soon. We have Jacob Fatu, which is a current-day talent. And then the other 2 are straight flashbacks, with Jake the Snake getting his next Ultimate. And then we had another Stone Cold Steve Austin. So, I don't know. It's weird how they kind of flip back and forth. You know, there at the beginning, it kind of seemed like they were going one apiece for each wave. 1 flashback, 1 current day. And then we kind of, you know, morphed into its own thing where they were kind of doing whatever, I guess, fits the glove, you know, or whatever they can do to fit those figures in is what they're doing. But do you like these gear choices? I think I'm on board with these gear choices. I don't hate these selections. I think that all 3 of them are pretty toyetic for the most part. You know, it may not be the first thing you think of for Sheamus, but at least they're commemorating a different moment, and they're giving us something a little bit different for him. And really, to convert it into trunks, if they end up giving him biker trunks or whatever, you could probably switch the legs with one of his other elites, and you could get rid of the short little biker trunks and make him have just regular tights that he usually wears, which wouldn't even be that hard to do. So that's something you could play with if you really just hate seeing that. You could do that, or if you're a big-time Sheamus guy. Liv Morgan, I think it's just going to come down to the head sculpts and things. I hope that this figure does work well and everything, regardless of the butterfly joints. And then the CM Punk, I mean, that's very toyetic. I'm glad they made that gear. That's a great-looking gear, and I'm happy to know that, you know, maybe this is a gear that we end up getting in Battle Pack form and in, Ultimate Edition form, because I do believe he has a Battle Pack with Gunther coming very soon as well, and I think that's also going to possibly be that Fantastic Four gear. Maybe they switch it up. I don't know. We'll have to see, of course, play that by ear, but I do believe that all these things are true until, I guess everything's subject to change, but the same person also, did say that the Royal Rumble Elite set that we covered last week that we kind of talked about that had been leaked out there, they also said that, like they hadn't seen that news already. So kind of seems like things are kind of aligning, and I think that everybody here bats a high percentage. So I think that these things are true. So we'll have to see. But I'm interested to see where that Liv Morgan Elite is. Where is that Larry Ultimate going to fit in? And are we going to get a made-to-order Mattel Creations CM Punk at some point? Is it going to be a Comic-Con exclusive Punk? Is it going to be a ringside exclusive Punk with Larry? I don't know, but of course, the jury's out. We'll have to wait and see, but I appreciate you guys so very much for watching. Let me know what you think about this news down below. I appreciate you guys so very much, but I'm getting the hell out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a blessed one, and I'll catch you guys later.